Hey guys, new video here. Today I'd like to talk about a helmet that I'm really excited about in 3.22. Apparently, this helmet gives you a buff the moment you touch a tormented spirit, and that buff is a 50% increase in damage, 50% increase in attack and cast speed, and 50% movement speed. That's basically like a Silver Flask at 150% increased effect all the time. Buff is permanent until you exit the map. So as long as you can touch a ghost, you will have this buff. Additionally, you're going to get the touch of whatever corresponding ghost that you touched. So for example, let's just scroll down here and look at some of the affixes. The thing I like about this item is if you ever play with like a headhunter or a ghoul, I kind of like items that make your gaming experience more fun that you just can't get anywhere else for that slot. Things like the ghoul or a headhunter where like suddenly in a map, you're just popping off really hard. And I feel like this is one of those items that can be combined with other mechanics, which I'll talk about in a second, which could make you have just way more fun in your mapping. And I spend like 99% of my time in maps, so anything I can do to enhance that experience, I'm going to try out. If you look at some of the Spirit's Touch that you can get, some of them are pretty generic, just numerical, like, oh, you get more resist, or like, there's this extra up, and that's kind of like a Watcher's Eye right there. But there's also like really cool things. For example, things like you have skills repeat an additional time, 50% more attack speed and more cast speed. Look at this, more movement speed, 33% chance to avoid damage from hit, applying silence on hit. Imagine you had like one of those jewels, inspired learning, but it could only steal from a pool of insane mods as opposed to like just randomly you might get like a shit mod. So I think this helmet will make your mapping experience way more fun if you can get a lot of ghosts in your map. Also, if you look at the price of this, it's a 1C item, so you're not really losing much by just trying it out. Right now, I think most people haven't tried it out because it's a tricorn base. So I think with some of the more strict filters, it's the only unique on this base, which means it might even show up on your loot field. Like you might not even pick this thing up. Look at this previous version. Yeah, it was just cannot be shocked and then like some garbage stats. Now, how are you gonna like pair this with mapping? Because it's not, you can't just put on the helmet. The helmet would be trash because you don't know if you're gonna get a tormented spirit. You know when that tormented spirit is gonna show up. So you need to kind of like play around this. And luckily in 3.22, I think there's gonna be a lot of ways to make this pretty fun. So first, you obviously have tormented scarabs that you can put in your map. And second of all, you have these Atlas mods, I guess, that are new. So the first one that you're definitely going to want to take is Speaker of the Dead. When you touch a mob, it can possess you. It can go inside of you. And for this 20 seconds, you're not just going to get the Fairgrace Tricorn buff and the Spirit's Touch. You're going to get everything inside of the Spirit's Grip column. You see this? The Spirit's Grip is like the Omega Juice. Look at all these. I'm not going to go over all these, but these are pretty crazy. And the way that usually, you know, your build becomes nuts is like there's all these multipliers that interact with each other. And then your character becomes like a god. When you look at all these affixes combining and getting a lot of ghosts in your map, I think it's going to make the playstyle kind of like the old Headhunter playstyle. And I'm looking forward to like seeing like which maps are the best for this. I'm thinking something like Atoll or Dunes, where you know exactly where the map boss is and you might be rushing the boss anyways because you're going to want to like gain your altars. Once you have Speaker of the Dead, you can be possessed by the monsters themselves and touch the monsters. You can pair it with things like Unrelenting Torment, which on a good map, the map has a 10% chance to be surrounded by tormented spirits. I forget exactly how many this is, but I think it's like 10 spirits around them, which would be kind of nuts. Imagine Atoll, you zoom to the boss, you kill the boss. Right now your altars are better. And then also if you do proc that 10% chance, then your character is like size of the screen and you're running around like Omega fast. And then you can also pair it with things like Paranormal Meeting. You have an additional spirit here. One thing I'm kind of wondering on the Atlas is how it interacts with things that guarantee ghosts, but might be conflicting with Speaker of the Dead, because Speaker of the Dead says that tormented spirits cannot possess monsters. But when you look at these nodes, like for example, Exiled World, rogue exiles are possessed by tormented spirit. And then same with things like Shansei up here, up to 5 rare monsters in each of your maps are possessed and their minions are touched. Because what I'm thinking is like Path of Exile mechanics can be kind of wonky and maybe they don't work correctly on League Start or whatever. And so what if this means that nodes that say that they guarantee spirits and you take Speaker of the Dead where it says they can't be possessed by spirits, what if the spirits spawn, but they spawn outside the monster? So Shansei is easy to understand. 5 rare monsters. What if the spirits are just like outside the monster, like right outside the rare? That's 5 extra tormented spirits right there. But the crazy thing that could happen is what about Exiled Will, where you have a chance to have 20 20 additional rogue exiles. You have percentage chance for those rogue exiles to be doubled. That's like 30% right here for the exiles to be doubled. So that could be 40. And then now it says rogue exiles are possessed by tormented spirits. So what if you have like 40 extra ghosts that are sitting outside of each exile? I don't know. This is just like me thinking about ways to play around it or that it could work. Kind of like copium, right? Because I don't know if that's exactly how it works, but maybe. That's how you're going to interact with the Atlas nodes. But for guaranteed, you're going to want to take Speaker of the Dead and Unrelenting Torment, and then use some Tormented Scarabs, one of the cheapest Scarabs, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun. If you didn't read the patch notes, one thing that I was initially concerned about is when you think about the mapping playstyle, you go in, you kill everything. These huge packs just disintegrate if you have a good build, and then the ghost dies with it before being able to touch anything. Well, in the patch, they actually changed it. So what's going to happen is spirits in 83 maps, I believe they have about like 530% more life, and they also have a tapering damage reduction for 15 seconds. It's the same kind of thing where if you've ever fought a boss, like a unique boss in PoE, you know how like for the first 8 seconds, they have this like massive damage reduction where you can't one-shot them? That's what's going to happen with the spirits. I don't believe you're ever going to be able to one-shot the spirits anymore on a mapping build, and which will give you plenty of time to just walk up the spirit, and the spirit will possess you, and you get the buff from Spirit of the Dead, and you get the buff from the Fairgraves Tricorn. So in the end game, the way that I see myself playing in a really fun way is like I'm going to be using like domination. I'm going to have a bunch of shrines. I'm going to have like maybe I'll try out some Headhunter inspired learning tech. I'm going to use Tormented Scarabs, right? I'm going to use all these nodes, and hopefully each map will be like the old like self-cursed Headhunter days. One can only dream. So anyways, that's the video. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you guys try it out. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and like I said, it's like a 1C item, so no reason not to. Anyways, thanks for watching my video. Bye guys. Bye.